Everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk and I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom, and today's project is this cute little box here for some fabulous chocolates that I like. They're not Ferrero, although this would fit Ferrero Rocher, but these fabulous Monty Bojangles, Choccy Scoffy. You could get 3, maybe 4 at a push, but it would certainly fit Ferrero as well. The great thing about this box is it's flush fitting. And that means it's a really snug fit, but it does also mean that you haven't got to do lots of tiny little measurements, because it's just 2 pieces of card exactly the same. And I have used the lovely botanical prints again. So this is the product medley, which means you get everything you need. So you have got not the Stampin' Pierce mat, but you've got papers in some lovely terracotta tile, pretty peacock, gorgeous papers here. And on the reverse you've got lovely black and white prints, which you can colour or you can just use as they are. You get some fabulous ribbon. We get some lovely laser cut sheets. I've cut one of those in 2, so it just shows what you can do. There are some die cuts as well, already printed and coloured. Others, these are some of the dies, because it does come with dies as well, which I've popped in here. And here are the dies you can see, which go with the prints, and also these lovely little bees, which are just absolutely beautiful. I might have to make some of those, I think, after those ones have finished, because they are just delightful. And then you've got the stamps. So as you can see, I've already mounted up the stamps that we're going to use. So let's get started. So one of the other colours, as I said, is crushed curry. So that's what I'm going to do today. And we start off with a piece of 14 by 14 cardstock, and you're just going to score that at 3.5 centimetres on all 4 sides. I've done this in inches as well. I'll pop the inches on my blog, so just pop along to that to see. Once you've done the 4 sides at 3.5, you just want to mark the midpoint, so that's just at 7 centimetres. And then line up those 2 marks in your track and score the diagonals. So again, I'm just lining up those to add those 2 7 centimetre points, go in the middle. Okay, so this is our box base all done. Pop that to one side, and then you're going to take a piece of the DSP and just trim that again to 14 by 14. And again, we're just going to score that at 3.5 on all 4 sides. It's paper, pattern paper, so you don't need to score as firmly as you would. But I mean, the new trimmer, to be honest with you, don't need to score push hard anyway. It works really well. So once you've done that, pop that to one side, and let's get some trimming done. So we're box making, so I would always recommend that on a box we use our bone folder, but I'm just going to reinforce the straight lines on these. With DSP, I don't usually use my bone folder. I just run my finger over the crease as well, and it just makes it easier when you're trimming. So for trimming our box, we're going to cut straight up the side here, and then whereas normally we just notch out, we're actually going to be gluing it to this triangle here. So I'm just going to come slightly to the right of the point up the side, and that means we can stick here without fouling, and just repeat that on all 4 sides. So again, straight down and off to the side, straight down, straight down. We're not going to reinforce these creases here, because they are literally just designed to give a little bit of give. What we are going to do is glue these tabs. I'm just using some fuse for speed. I would usually use red tape when I'm doing boxes. And then all you do is just create your box by folding up those sides. So as you go, and then I'll show you the inside, and you'll see that we've just glued so that little bit doesn't foul at all. Like so. So there's our box, and the idea of those score lines is that when you just squeeze them, it just enables the box to fold in slightly. So now the top and the lid of the box is just how we do a standard box. So I'm just notching out those tabs, and that's just to remove the bulk. So you can see just cutting just a thin sliver either side of the straight line. So straight on the big panel and cut a sliver off the smaller one. And I sort of do this, I call it like a windmill, reminds me of when you used to make pinwheels, just so whenever you fold it up you find that it's then an even box, your tabs are the same on all four sides. Okay, so there we go. So just line those up to create our lid. And then what I've done, just to make it easier to get the lid on and off, is I'm just taking a 1-inch punch. You could use whatever shape you had to hand, but the 1-inch punch is a really useful size. And I just pop that in, eyeball it to the middle, and just punch a shape out on either side. On either side. I keep saying that, all four sides. And then this will just fit straight down on the top there. But what you're going to do first, of course, is pop some of your treats in. And the glorious thing about these Monty Bojangles is they come in lovely colours. So that was one of the reasons why I chose crushed curry, because I can remember it just fitted with them. So there we go. So there's our box, and you can see that's a really nice snug fit. It's not going to come off, but what we're going to do now is decorate it, lovely as it looks, like that. And here we go. So first thing I'm going to do is use the sentiment that I've already mounted up, and let's just pop that in the middle there. Nice and skewiff, great. But because we're going to punch it out afterwards, that isn't going to matter. So we're just going to come in. Now this is either Label Me Pretty, Label Me Fancy, I can't remember which label it is, but it's one of the new label punches, which I'll put on my blog, the link for you, because it's just such a pretty shape. And I'm going to also punch one out of some crushed curry cardstock as well. Now I'm holding the punch up. If you struggle with your hands at all, just pop the punch flat down and press down on the surface. That also stops you twisting your punch as well. So now, let's get organised. What I've done on the other one is actually just taken the image and just stamped around the edge as well. That just adds a little bit of decoration and ties it in with the patterns on the paper. So you can see there, that's just gone around the edge. I'm also going to stamp one of those because I'm going to die cut it. So all I'm going to do is stamp that in crushed curry this time, not in Memento. Part of that is because what I'm going to do now is actually die cut that, and I'm going to come in with our blender pen to do some colouring. So with the new dies, just a reminder, they really hug the shape. What I mean by that is when you put your die around it, you don't want to be able to see any white. So if you did it like that, this would have a big white shadow. So just put it so that it is literally hugging the shape. Pop that through your die cutting machine, and you'll end up with a shape like this. So now with our blender pen, we can come in. Obviously, with the blender pen, it's got like an alcohol element to it, just making sure that although it looks coloured, it isn't. So I'm just going to I'm going to use the other end. There we go, yeah. And then you can just use that to move some of the ink around. Now, if you wanted a little bit more colour, rather than just taking the ink from the stamped image, you'll see here on this block, all I've done is I've dipped my block onto my ink pad. And that gives me plenty of colour. And then again, you can just come in and add some shading. So obviously you'll get a darker impression around the outside. So those elements that you want a little darker. And just come in and you can obviously... And then you can just say it's just added a little more depth of colour around the outside of your shape. But these are beautifully detailed images, so it's just whatever you fancy doing really. But the blender pens are great to use. It means you end up with a marker in effect for any of your colours that you've got an ink pad for. So now what we're going to do is create our label. Just cut this one in half, add some glue to the reverse like this, just top and bottom. Just like so. Great thing with this label is obviously with the straight sides, it makes it really easy for you to layer up. And it's really, it's a nice symmetrical label as well. There we go. We're going to add this onto the side. So here's our little box. And I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back there. Again, dimensionals, you don't need to go mad. Pop our image there. Pop a couple of dimensionals on the back. And just work out. So we're going to pop it here. Decide where you want to put that. I might actually put that around the back there. So I've tucked it under at the bottom. And I'll pop it at the top. See, there we go. Let's pop that there. And there we have a pretty box for some Choccy Scoffy chocolates, or Lindors, or Ferrero. Take 4 of them. And wasn't that quick and easy? Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products, please pop along to my blog and follow the links to my Stampin' Up shop. You can click on the images or pop along to heidismith.stampinup.net. Thank you and come back soon. Bye now.